welcome to today's topics. I'm Jason with EDCO here in Frederick, Maryland.
And I'm Brandy with Mac&X Construction Products based out of Torrance, California. I'm sure a lot of you are wondering, how and why is EDCO and Mac&X doing a webinar together? It turns out we have a very common interest, and that's all of you. You guys are our common interest.
EDCO and Mac&X are different companies with different styles, but what we have in common, like Brandy said, is that we both love customer interaction and we have to do it constantly. Thus the birth of this shared opportunity. I will say from the EDCO side, EDCO really admires Mac&X because in a short time, they've made significant impacts in the industries that we both serve. That's a really hard thing to do.
Thanks, Jason. From the Mac&X side, we view EDCO as one of the longest standing, family-oriented, strong companies that have never put aside values such as safety and quality, and we really admire that and look up to that.
Thanks. I appreciate you saying that too. In this episode of today's topics, we're interviewing experts about ergonomics while working in unusual locations, juggling kids while working at home, and the power of video marketing and how all size companies can do it immediately. So let's get after it.
So we're going to jump into our first topic today, which is something very important in this time. A lot of us are currently working in an unusual environment. So ergonomics for your body and how you're sitting and where you're sitting all day is definitely different and something that we all need to adapt to. So our first guest today joining us is Dr. Misa Zaker. Thank you for joining us. And as you can see, I'm in my kitchen. Everyone's in a different spot right now. Maybe you're working at a smaller desk, staring at a smaller screen. Maybe you don't have your comfortable chair or your standing desk. And all of these are factors into what is going to happen to your body and your health if you're not paying attention. And I'll turn it over to Dr. Zaker here to explain a little bit more in depth of why this is so important for everyone.
Thanks, Brandy. Yeah, we're hitting a new wave of treatment here in our clinic where now obviously where we see a lot of more people working from home, the injuries that we see coming in are drastically different. Usually when people are at home and working in their home space, they don't have the proper ergonomic kind of setup as they do at work because maybe they're watching TV or sometimes they're in their bed or sometimes they're on their couch. So all that kind of leads to improper positioning of our body. One of the first things we're going to talk about is obviously the base of what posture is, which is really our shoulders. There's two key factors in what we're talking about here. There's our shoulders and there's our neck, right? The shoulders, the main thing that has to do with your shoulders, and if everyone can kind of touch that bone behind their back, we have this big triangular bone called the scapula. So you have one on the left and one on the right, right? It's big bony structure right there. So those two bones are kind of the anchor of the shoulder. A lot of people, which we call scapular winging, have this type of up and out type of shoulders that you see kind of that scapula goes up and out and wings out. If our neck is resting on an area that is very sloped, what's going to happen sooner than later is that the head is going to want to come forward. Even if you guys try that at home, if we bring our shoulders up and out, and I'm exaggerating here, it's gonna feel like your neck is very compressed, and it's gonna feel like you wanna bring your neck forward to make it feel better, right? Contrary, if you bring your shoulders down all the way and back, and once again, I'm exaggerating, but it feels like you have more space in your neck, and it feels like you're flattening out that area where your neck rests on. And that's really the most important thing. A lot of people do all these neck exercises, but I see their shoulders and I'm like, well, you're fighting a lost cause.
And what's an example of an exercise that we can improve ourselves and our posture on?
We call these the T's and Y exercises, okay? So very simply put, we want to bring the shoulders back this way and down this way. Well, let's start by bringing them back. So we take a TheraBand here. You can pick any color. The red one is sometimes, has the least resistance and it kind of goes up. You can work your way up for that. Sometimes if it gets easy, you can, take it and, double layer it like that. But for this purpose, we'll take it straight. So I'm going to bring this back a little bit. So for the T, right, what we want to do is squeeze the back. So we bring this right in front of us like this, right? And we go all the way back and we're squeezing that shoulder all the way back. And we're going to turn this way just so you guys see, right? We're going to come here and we're going to come all the way back like that. So if the T's brought my shoulder in, right, the Y's are going to bring my shoulder down, which is that next step. So we're going to start in that Y position, right? And we're going to bring this right behind our head like this and really bring this down. If you do this the right way, you'll almost see, you'll feel that you have more space in between the bottom of your chin and the top of your shoulders like this, like coming up for air like this. Good. 1, and we come down like this. 2, and as you can see, this takes about, 30 seconds to do something appropriate like this.
For those who may not be as familiar with a chiropractor or aren't really in tune with their bodies, the way they that how they should be, or how you're in tune with your body, what are some signals that their bodies could give them that they think that you should be looking out for that makes them think they should go see a professional like yourself instead of just trying to do exercises at home?
One of the main reasons that I see with patients that come in and it's not too late, but maybe some of the stuff won't work right away, is with inflammatory conditions. If you go to any type of medical professional, what we try to make sure we do is, the word comprehensive chiropractic care really does separate from different types of therapies. Because instead of you just coming to a clinic and just getting adjusted or cracked, or people like to think, we like to do our due diligence and make sure, A, you're diagnosed correctly, whether it's an x-ray or different type of diagnostic procedures like a nerve conduction test, possibly MRI, whatever it takes. Once you understand what's going on with yourself and it's illustrated to you in the right manner, like I'm kind of doing with you guys today, right? It's easier to buy into the solution.
If you are in the LA or OC area, we're going to have a special offer for you up from Dr. Zaker and his, you have 2 offices?
Oh, we have 3 offices actually.
3 offices, yeah. So 3 to choose from if you're in either of those areas, or if you're willing to do a little bit of traveling. Dr. Zaker, thank you for all the information. I'm sure there's people out there that are now thinking, and as you were talking, I caught myself sitting up straighter and straighter and trying to.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, thanks for having me as well. And if you have, from treatment, or if you have any other questions, we'll provide you with the email. You can shoot us an email and, we'll direct you the right way. And sometimes if maybe you're too far from here, what we've done with a lot of patients is, told them what to look out for in medical services and kind of what type of treatment they would need. So we have a nice video that explains all this on our website as well. So you guys can go and check that out.
All right, guys. So another change and challenge that people are facing in today's world is parents who are now working from home that have children at home. So joining us to talk a little bit about this is our very own Maconex's Peter McGinnis. Pete, how many children do you have and what ages?
So I have a 5 and a 3-year-old. My son's name is Maverick and my daughter's name is Liberty. And with the kind of situation right now with schools being closed, it's a little bit difficult because we're doing homeschooling at home and we're trying to do work at home, and there's some distractions.
Talking about homeschooling and working from home, what tips or what suggestions can you give or talk about with staying focused at work and not being distracted with what's going on behind you?
So really, the distractions are there, and you just kind of have to you have to just deal with the distractions, and you have to wear a lot of different hats. Sometimes you're wearing the Maconex hat, sometimes you're wearing a princess crown, and it's just what you have to do.
So now it's safe to say we're talking to Super Dad and not Pete.
That is true. And the distractions are there, but you really have to stay focused really on what's going on.
So, like, Pete, what's your tactics that you use to ensure that you get actually some quiet time every once in a while?
So quiet time gets difficult. The thing with quiet time is actually my son made me this. He says it's for, to know when we're building equipment. And the reason he made this for me was so I can hang it on my door. And oh man, I didn't hang this on the door. I'm sorry, guys. Give me 1 minute. Okay,
oh man,
guys.
you're blowing your own tactics here.
Here's your princess crown. And a good wife that helps is great as well. So if you hang this on the door, that's what actually helps me out a bit, for this quiet time, and then I can, get my normal stuff done and, go back to putting the Mackinacs hat on.
There you go. That's cool. So when you're going each day towards the end, what would be your advice for parents who, in your same situation, could prepare for the following day of work? Like, what do you do every day to get ready for the next day? Yeah, so I think now more than ever, preparation is important. To be able to plan out your weeks, plan out your days for yourself on how you're going to execute that, and then also plan it out for the kids. So something that we did in our household was we made a big chart like this to plan the kids' schedules as well. So between, at 8:30, the kids go and they check off that school starts. And then at 10:30, you have snack and break. And we plan this around, the kids' schedule and then also our working schedule to really stay as organized as possible and make sure that it just flows. And it gets chaotic, trust me.
And the kids are able to keep up then because they know what's coming and what's on the schedule, what's happening next.
Yeah, if everyone sees what's going on, you can minimize the distractions.
Great. How much wine is involved?
Well, normally with that preparation the night before, there's definitely a bunch of wine, and sometimes the wine even comes, at all hours.
Yeah, that's a hefty pour you got there, bud.
So wow,
it's needed. It's definitely needed.
Wow, it's 5 o'clock somewhere, right, buddy?
That's right.
My go-to is bourbon when I get home. I gotta have that. The wife already has the wine taken care of, so I gotta go with that.
No, absolutely. Well, I appreciate you guys having me on today, and hopefully, some of these tips are helpful to the people that watch.
Stay strong, buddy. Don't let them get you down too hard.
I'm gonna go with the toilet paper door hanger.
It's gonna stay on that door. I don't know what I was thinking, leaving it off, especially during this.
Thanks, Pete.
You bet. Thank you.
Technology and online marketing was important before. Now we've been launched in a new world where we can't personally interact. We have definitely entered a new normal. Video marketing is now more important than ever because many experts are saying this crisis is accelerating preferences to online interaction and communication. One of those experts is John Michael Bailey with Wellspring Digital, a provider of complete digital marketing services in Fairfield, Pennsylvania. John's an experienced writer, speaker, and fun fact, once interviewed Apple's Steve Wozniak at a tech conference. John, welcome to the show.
Wow.
Thanks for having me.
So John, what does video marketing do for small businesses immediately and then in the long term?
Immediately, I would say what it provides is accessibility. And what I mean by that, especially in a time like this, I think it humanizes your company. It puts a face out there. It puts a human being forward instead of just marketing messaging. I think it's more conversational. So you're speaking in terms and using language that makes sense for the audience, as opposed to when you're writing, you have a tendency to you know, try to be too professorial, if you would. So I think in the short term, I think it humanizes brands. I think it provides accessibility, and I think it gives your audience a chance to make a real connection with the people at your company. In the long term, videos are search engine optimization gold. And when I say that, what I mean is if you do them properly. So if you record, say, an interview like this, or some other video of a demonstration or whatever, if you record that and then you post it to your YouTube channel, which is the second most popular search engine out there, also owned by Google, and then you take that YouTube video and you embed that in a blog post with a transcription, and those transcriptions are cheap. You can get an AI transcribed piece for like a few bucks. That video with that content below it on your blog is going to keep churning out SEO gold for a long period of time. So you're getting that short hit of the great video content, but you're getting that long hit of it's going to keep ranking, it's going to keep doing well in the search engines. How do I know that? Because I've seen it happen, and also because that's what Google says it wants.
In this current time and situation, what's a good way to utilize staff to get that content that we could put out there for viewers?
So I've done more interviews in the past 3 weeks than I've done in the past 6 months. It's crazy because everybody's sitting at home. Everybody's getting really used to using Zoom, using GoToMeeting, using whatever. So take advantage of that. Your employees are a great resource in that you probably have some resident experts that you can interview and ask them questions about different products or different techniques or different uses of those products. So get those videos now. You can do it as a simple Zoom interview, or you can say, hey, so-and-so working from home, or even if you're in the shop, get a tripod or some way to secure your iPhone so it's not all shaky, and record a demonstration of something. I can't stress it enough. I think people underutilize their own staff. In a great book that I just finished recently, here's another one for you, Jason, is called Fanocracy. It's by David Meerman Scott, who I'm actually interviewing in about 43 minutes. So it talks about how you need to use your employees as fanatics. You need to tap into that resource of the employee that really loves their job, that loves what they do. Capture that on video, make it real. Don't overproduce it. Don't try to make it too formal and rigid. And really, use those people to get that real, accessible and useful content.
How do you think, or why do you think that all this video and this type of interaction is so intriguing to the next generation, or Gen X, as we call them, or to any newcomers in the industry? Why is this kind of interaction much more enticing and eye-grabbing than any
You're talking
other?
about Gen X or Gen Z?
Well, I think there's two, so maybe talk about both.
So Gen X is the generation that kind of adapted to digital, and I think they've always liked video. YouTube sort of came of age during the explosion of Gen X's as professionals.
Right.
So I think they've grown and adapted with video. And so, video is always going to be popular with them. I think it's popular with all generations. It's just a matter of in what way.
Right.
I think with Generation Z, which is really, everybody fixates on millennials. And if you don't mind, I'd like to read a quote from this book that I just finished a while back called Instabrain, which is a phenomenal book about Generation Z. And in that book, there's a quote where she says, there it is. Yes, that one. She says, in contrast to millennials, Generation Z was raised in an environment of economic instability and social change, churning out a generation of strong, resolute, earnest, hardworking, entrepreneurial, responsible teens and adults. responsible teens and adults.
Wow.
I think so many people are missing this fact, and they think, oh, millennials, oh, Gen Z, they're just wasting their time away on Instagram or whatever. And they're really not. There have been studies done where they've actually watched Gen Z people scroll through their Instagram or whatever platform they're on, and it looks like they're just, But what happens is they'll stop. A video will catch their eye, and they will stop, and they will dive in head first. And they will, if something catches their interest, they will spend literally hours researching, gobbling up every bit of information that they can possibly find about that topic. So if you're doing these really useful and educational videos, and posting them to platforms like Instagram or YouTube or what's the other one? TikTok even. I mean, you can catch their attention and pull them in a little bit, and then from there they'll seek you out. They'll look for that additional information. So I really think, videos are ways to grab the attention and to really provide the hook. But make sure that you're using your video as a launching point to get them to dive into other bits of information that you're offering. So on that video, mention, hey, if you found this video useful, there's a great video library you can check out here, or there's some informational posts you can check out here. So use the video as the attention grabber, as the way to really hook them in and then get their attention after the fact.
Yeah, you want them to want more.
Yeah, and that's what video does. And
it really is interesting with Generation Z, as you said before, people don't even know who they even are anymore. And I was joking before, John made the reference, we trade books, and he told me Instagram, I'm about 30 pages in, and I'm already terrified of Generation Z because they're going to rule everything in a couple of years. It's the age group right now between about 13 and 24 years of age. And just imagine the influence that they're going to have going through college, coming out of college, and getting a job and becoming those young consumers here in the next few years.
They are true digital natives, and not in the sense of knowing how to effectively waste time on digital platforms, but knowing how to make the absolute most of every platform out there.
So John, speaking of digital, wrapping up here, why don't you tell us a quick couple of things about Wellspring and what you guys do?
Sure. So Wellspring Digital, we're based in Fairfield. We have another location in Frederick, Maryland. But we're nationwide. We are a full service digital marketing agency. So we do SEO, search engine optimization. We manage pay-per-click campaigns. We do marketing automation work, and we're platform agnostic, so we can work with HubSpot, Pardot, Marketo, on and on and on and on. We do content and social media marketing. We can also do sentiment analysis and reputation management. So if you're a larger firm and maybe you're getting a little beat up, people are complaining about you, or you're worried about people complaining about you, or you have a bad reputation, we have a process where we can actually clean that up for you. And sort of walk you through the steps to pull yourself out of that mess that you're in. And then we can do website design and hosting. I'm pretty sure that's it. So we've been in business about 3.5 years. We're a staff of 10. We're actually growing. After my interview with David Merriman Scott, then I have another interview with a potential project manager. So even in these crazy economic times, we're fairly bullish, and we're growing, and it's just a great company. I love here's Wellspring Digital.
Give it a little pop.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks, John. Appreciate it. I can
Absolutely.
attest John knows what he's talking about. And I think the information on video marketing is something that both Mac&X and EDCO customers can really use this time to utilize. So thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you,
Absolutely.
John.
Thanks for having me.
All right, guys. Our first webinar. It's a wrap.
It's a wrap.
Thanks for joining us. Jason, I had a lot of fun. I don't know about you.
Lots of fun. This is really cool.
Yeah. So thank you everyone for watching. Our goal here was to at least give everyone a chance to learn a little nugget about something, anything, and or just catch a little laugh, especially during these these trying times. But our most important question, I'll let Jason ask it.
The question is, do you want us to do this again? Did you like this? Did you not like it? Were we cool, or were we just really annoying? We'd love to hear back from you. Comment below about what you thought about the video, what you thought about our show, us, and most importantly, please feed us some topics about what you'd like to see in a future show. Brandy and I want to do this for the long term, and that's going to be successful if you give us some feedback on what you'd like us to get into. So like she said, that's a wrap. We hope you enjoyed it. Don't hate comment us too much, and we'd love to see you back here for our next episode, which we're going to be filming very soon. We're doing some topics on self-improvement, and it'll be a lot of fun then too. So Brandy, from the east side of the country, I want to say goodbye to you, and this has been a fantastic idea you had.
Bye from the West Coast, the best coast.